Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to take a look at the upcoming Uma that is Fine Motion. And yes, this is now the Uma we're looking at. We're not going to be talking about the support card, which will be coming later for the rerun. Now we do talk about how great the support card is, so let's go ahead and see how great Fine Motion the Uma is. And like I always do when it comes to covering the Umas, we'll take a look at the stat bonuses, the aptitudes, the skills, and then kind of compare what she is to the Umas that'll be coming up, as well as other banners, and to kind of determine what my thoughts are on whether or not you want to over her. And so with that, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Going right into the stat bonuses first, she probably has my favorite setup of stat bonuses here, being 15% power and 50% wit. Really, really good for like what all of my problems are currently with a lot of Umas. Especially ones that have bonuses to speed. Bonuses to speed are really nice in the aspect that it makes it a lot easier to max your speed, which is mandatory. But when you're going for that high roll, if you have bonus to speed and not to power, it makes it very awkward, even when you bring a lot of power sparks, to try and get max on both of these, or at least a very high power. But in this case, the standard deck that I think a lot of people are typically trying to use right now is you bring Rico, and then you bring your speed and wit cards. And so with this setup, you can get very high power alongside power sparks, paired with your speed to get your max speed, and then your wit cards to get your wit up. So especially if you're a whale, or even just someone that's got all the like top SR cards, MLB, you can get like close to max wit, max speed, and a very high power, especially on tracks like the upcoming sprint, where you don't even care about stamina. And so really, really good there. Now, when we look at her aptitudes here, she's looking to be only turf. She doesn't have, she's dirt G. And then on the distances, she can really work in any of them. Although with short, you're really wanting to bring turf sparks. So even though it's possible, just know it's going to take a lot of work to make her work for it. Because it's going to take a lot more runs to try and get that turf S, which is the priority short. But being long C, not a big deal. You're going to bring enough long sparks to bring that up to A anyway. Same with mile and medium. And then strategy is primarily going to be a pace, although she's kind of weird in the fact that she's E in late, but C in end. But when we get into her skills, she really feels like she's going to be a pace chaser anyway, so I'm not even going to care about end. That might come to deal with her future alt versions. We'll just have to see. But she only has 4 A's, so not too crazy there. Can be okay at trying to make parents out of her. And when we take a look at her unique skills here, we have Fairy Tale increases the velocity with excitement of running when engaged in a challenge while well positioned in the second half of the race. And so this one is going to be one of those positional ones. And this one is like focused on paces, as you can see here. Second half of the race, between second and fourth place. So you don't want to be in first. So kind of a negative there when it comes to tracks like we're looking at with Marima Keenan, which right now I feel like frontrunners are going to be a little bit more prominent than we saw in Libra and Gemini. But there's always the chance that you could end up getting lucky pace still, because end closers are going to be still popular. And then you basically lose access to that. But it's other than that, if you bring your own frontrunner, you can pretty easily probably get yourself in that position. And then you just have to be blocked on the side by someone. And then it's basically giving you a nice big speed boost with her alt for 5 seconds of 0.35 to push yourself up and in front of them. So not too crazy. Just know she can't really take advantage of lucky pace with her alt in that aspect. And then we have her innate skills. So pretty much just her support card in that. You got Fall Runner, you got Right-Handed, you got Prepared to Pass, which is the version of Speed Star, which is, of course, on her wit card, the skill you learn. And then you have Medium Corners, and then Determined Descent, which is the gold version of Straight Descent, which is a very good acceleration for very specific tracks. We saw that, I believe, with Virgo Cup. A decent gamble skill if you have a downhill that you can take advantage of, try and get that lucky acceleration. And right now, there's only one way to get it, and that is on Rice Shower with the gold version. Now, you can get Straight Descent, of course, being a white from all kinds of places, but the gold version we've seen could work pretty well depending on the track. And then also skills from events, Pace Chaser, Corners, All I Got, Up Tempo, Straight Descent again. updrafters, and preferred position. And so most of it's medium, so she's more focused towards mediums here, as you can kind of already see, but she does have a little bit for miles. And then when we take a look at the last thing here will be the evolutions. I'm starting to try and look at these now because we're kind of having the guess that evolutions could potentially come early, like we already got the first anniversary early. And it can really shake things up for Make a New Track if we do get them, especially on some of the Umas. And so we look at our evolve skills here. We have 2 speed star ones, and depending on if you meet the conditions at the end of your career, you can pick the one that you want if you meet those conditions. And so we have Royal Star, which is a leader. And let's see, this one evolves it to basically, I think it's the same thing, just a bigger speed increase. Yes, that looks to be just makes a greatly speed increase there. And then you have the second one here that looks to convert it to a medium specific. So it's a leader, medium specific with delightful memory. And this one makes it looks like it's changing. This one's kind of looks still the same speed. Is it a time difference? Yes. Makes it a lot longer. It goes from like you see a speed star being a 1.8. This one on mediums now makes it 4 seconds, so it's going to be a lot longer. So that's pretty nice right there. And then you have the evolved version of Determined Descent, which this one looks to be at a random point downhill, your acceleration, so it's 0.4 still. 0.3. So it brings it from a 0.3 to a 0.4, so making a stronger acceleration, which is always nice. We see that with a lot of the acceleration skills on evolutions as they become stronger overall. And nothing too crazy there, but I do like the ones where some of them have the options between 2 where you can kind of change the skill. But nothing all that crazy here, but it does make Speed Star a lot stronger on mediums there. And so that is her entire kit. So my kind of thoughts on her is I think she's a fairly strong Uma in that aspect. She comes with, both of these are good golds, Determined Descent being more track specific. The ones where it works, she's going to work really, really well. Fall Runner and right-handed, you can have both of your speed skills or both of the speed greens right off the bat in any of the fall right-handed. One of the negatives is we're now on the winter races. So with the Arima Keenan, we're on winter. We're not going to cycle all the way back to Fall Runner for a little while. So just know you won't be able to take advantage of this right off the bat. But once we get to that, she will be really strong having them. And one of the things you want to have, what we're seeing is really strong in your pace chasers, is having groundwork. And so effectively in the fall right-handeds, she can have easy access to getting it right off the bat. Now, when we look at what's coming out around her, and actually one of the negatives right now also, kind of to mention, Fine Motion is right now one of the strongest wit cards, and will continue to be very strong for quite a while. And even when she gets power crept, you're still going to use her paired up. You'll pair her with the card that power creeps her. So just know she ain't going to be able to use the strongest wit card that you're like prioritizing to get your dupes of over something like Nice Nature. So you have to deal with a little bit weaker wit when it comes to the cards you bring, at least until it gets power crept. And when you look at what's coming out around her now, we of course have Tamamo Cross. I think a big fan favorite because of the Cinderella Grey films, anime. And so I know a lot of people want to pull on her, and the nice thing about this banner, it's going to be coming alongside free polls, so it's effectively a discount to go to Pity on this banner. And this one, if you have to go all the way to Pity, it's not. And so if you're just trying to get a wide breadth of Umas, this one might be the good one to go for, just in the aspect. She's also a very strong pace chaser in her own right, but she's very versatile. She has a built-in late surger skill with Fast and Furious. And then she has Tail 9, which is the gold version of Tail Held High, which is good for any position. And her ult is a very good pace/end closer, and even late surger ult, depending on the track and the makeup of what most people are going to be using. And then you also, of course, you have like Fuku, and then you have the really good alt Inherit from TM Opera New Year's coming out. So a lot of big stuff. You have Nice Nature Wit also rerunning if you're wanting to try and MLB that. So she's kind of in an awkward position of timing. Can't really use, you can't use her and Wit card with it. So to me, unless she's an Oshi for you, she is a skip. For now, there's just too many big things coming up, especially as we're getting ready to get approaching Make a New Track. And of course, like I've already said here, we'll have the Fine Motion rerun coming up, which you'll want to save for as well. And then you can't even use that card with her. So if you spend your pulls here and there, that's one Uma that can't use a card that you just done a lot of pulls on. It's going to be the same problem a lot of people are going to have when they pull over Kita-san Black, is that you can't use the Kita-san Black card. But that is pretty much it on Fine Motion. Overall, I mean, if I get her off of like one of my random free pulls on Tamamo Cross, I could definitely see myself potentially using her, because I think everything in her kit is good. I mean, that's the big thing. There's really nothing that goes to waste on specific tracks where Determined Descent is good. So that is it. That is my thoughts. And if you like my content, if you can like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.